Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I'm on the island of Tenerife, and here I have Opuntia ficus-indica, and I want to get some of the fruit from this cactus. Opuntia ficus-indica was once the economic backbone of the islands, not because of the fruit, which are quite a nice fruit, also not of the pads, which a lot of people call leaves, which are also edible as a vegetable, but because of a bug which was grown on those cacti, and the blood of the bug was used as a dye. Well, I wanted to do a whole series of videos on Opuntia ficus-indica, how to pick it, how to process it, how to eat it. But when I came to Tenerife, it turned out that in the lower areas, it must have been so dry that those cacti have no fruit. So here I am at 800-900 meters above sea level in the rainy mountains of Anaga. Finally, I find some cactus fruit here. Oh, and some cactus fruit which have mostly been eaten by some birds. Well, let's do a short version on how to eat cactus fruit. First, cacti have two types of spines. They have those thorns, which in many varieties have almost been bred away, which you can see and avoid quite easily. And then they have the tiny glockets. And then, like on these fruits, they have something in between, quite big glockets. So, let's cut off this fruit. Oh God, let's not be killed by some car. Somebody already enjoyed this fruit, or maybe it burst open from the ample rains, but I think there is still enough edible pulp inside. Now the biggest problem is how to get rid of the glockets. My favorite method is throw it into the grass or into some other plants. And brush those nasty little glockets off. Now I must have removed most of them. Now I can take the fruit in two hands, brush it a couple times more. If you have no grass or no herbs, you have to do it on the barren ground, but then it takes much longer. Okay, now here I got my nice big cactus fruit. By the way, when you choose cactus fruit, well, when my son was little, he said, "Daddy, I want only the white ones." What he meant is the ones with the palest color. The ones which are very green are still too unripe. The ones which are bright red or yellow are probably overripe. The best is a mixture of green and / red yellow. So that's what he called white. So if you look at this plant here, I would probably avoid this one, or this one, because they might be too ripe. I would avoid the very green one, but the half-ripe one here, the half-ripe one there, the one here on the right, or this one, they should be about perfect. But here I have a much bigger one. Look at that. That's the size of a chicken egg. Well, what you do is, you don't let it escape. What you do is, you cut off a little from the bottom. Here I cut off probably a little bit too much, but it should be okay. You cut off a bit from the top. Here I cut almost a little bit too little. That's why you have to cut quite the right amount from the bottom and the top. You cut the rind, and then you could basically peel off the rind. Well, with two hands and probably a fork together with the knife, it goes much easier, but after all I need to film. So it's gonna be a little bit more messy. The rind in Opuntia ficus-indica is basically not good for human consumption. Well, in this one fruit, it was a giant fruit, but the rind was very thick, so at the end you end up with something this size. You can end up with bigger edible pieces, but this is quite okay. Never take fruit which are very thin or very small, because there will always be some rind and you will end up with a very small amount of edible flesh. Yep, perfect. Not too green, not too ripe. It's pretty much in the perfect state. Yeah, I like this one. Well, folks, I'm gonna finish the video and then finish off the rest of the cactus fruit here, because once I go back to the lowlands, no more cactus fruit for me. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful island of Tenerife. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.